Have you ever watched a Scream movie and figured out who the killer was because they gave themselves away? Viewers have seen many different motives and reasoning when it comes to Ghostface killers, which has also led to many different slip-ups. Sometimes a character will do something that doesn't make sense and puts them right at the top of our suspect list. Here are 20 times that the killer in Scream accidentally gave themselves away. Too much info, Stu Macher. The original Scream introduces all the main characters together for the first time while they are gathered around a fountain. They are talking about the murders of Casey Becker and Stephen Orth. Stu begins to argue with his girlfriend Tatum about how the murder couldn't have been done by a girl.
There's no way a girl could have killed him.
That is so sexist. The killer could easily be female. Basic instinct.
But he doesn't just stop there. He goes on and explains how they were killed and how he used to date Casey. He gives away so much information to the point that Billy gives him a look trying to tell him to stop.
I didn't kill anybody. Nobody said you did.
It's pretty surprising that the others didn't pick up on these two earlier in the movie. Sequel-obsessed, Mickey Altieri. It's become a tradition that in every Scream movie, the characters discuss their current situation in order to be meta. In Scream 2, they do this by having a discussion about sequels in film class. Randy talks to his class about how sequels are the worst.
Dad too? Who'd want to do that? Sequels suck. No way.
Mickey doesn't like these comments though, and begins to argue about how sequels aren't so bad, and there are plenty of sequels that are better than the originals. His obsession with sequels seems odd here and stands out in the conversation. He is hinting at the fact that he is hoping the Windsor College murders will surpass those at Woodsboro. Similar story, Quinn Bailey. With not a lot of time before her fake death, Quinn is forced to exposition dump her motive quickly. Near the beginning of the movie, there's an out-of-place moment of her explaining the loss of her brother to Tara.
After we, lost my brother, my dad wouldn't leave me alone.
A lot of fans were able to piece together a theory quickly by putting together her mentioning she has a dead brother and knowing what happens in Scream 2. The motive of her and her dad is exactly the same as Billy and his mom. Obvious victim, Jill Roberts. The first two real victims of Scream 4 are Marnie Cooper and Jenny Randall, who are attacked in their home by Ghostface. While on the phone with the killer, Jenny asks an interesting question.
Is this Trevor?
Do I sound like a Trevor to you?
She mentions Trevor on the phone, proving that she's close to him. Since we know that Jill was cheated on by Trevor, it's very likely that Jenny was the girl Trevor cheated on Jill with. This seems like a mistake though to attack her first because it makes Jill look very obvious as the killer. If the cops would have just done some thinking, they would have been led right to Jill. Killer House, Amber Freeman. The group in Scream 2022 was trying everything they could to figure out why they were all being targeted by Ghostface. While discussing information about how all of them are connected to the past, Amber avoids mentioning that she lives in Stu Macher's old house, where the finale of the original Scream took place. There's no way she wouldn't know this with how popular that house is in Woodsboro, and the only reason she would hide it is because she's the killer. Sam finds out later before her reveal that this is his house.
You're in Stu Macher's house where your dad and Stu killed everyone. Someone planned to get you there. You need to get the f*** out, Sam.
And should have clued in immediately that Amber is suspicious. Cinephile, Billy Loomis. It takes a lot of effort to put yourself in a Halloween costume while trying to commit a series of murders without being caught, so the person doing this must really be obsessed with horror movies. Throughout the movie, we hear Billy make a bunch of references to life being like a movie.
Lately, we're just sort of edited for television. It's all a movie. It's all one great big movie.
This is a very unnatural way of speaking and frankly sounds like deranged killer talk. This should have clued Sydney into the fact that he was obsessed with turning her life into a living horror movie. Background Stalking, Nancy Loomis. Billy isn't the only one who is suspicious and creepy by their actions. His mother, Nancy Loomis, made herself very obvious as well throughout Scream 2. She would follow and question Gail Weathers several times, obviously trying to get information. There's even a shot of her walking in the background, just watching Gail and trying to hear what she's saying.
You stay focused and fast on your feet, and we'll get along fine. Playing with the big boys now, you got it?
Got it.
Mrs. Loomis is lucky that Gail was too distracted to notice her obvious stalking. No Show, Roman Bridger. After the murder of multiple cast members in the Stab 3 production, they decide to call off the filming. They all have an early wrap party at Jennifer Jo Lee's house because of this. Usually the cast and crew all go to the wrap party, but Roman suspiciously decides not to show up. This seems very odd since he's the director of the film. Clearly the reason he didn't show up was so that he could kill Stone and set up the events that lead to Tom's eventual death.
Whoever smells the...
In awe, Richie Kirsch. Richie mentions multiple times in Scream 2022 that he is unfamiliar with the stab movies. We find out during his reveal that he's been lying and is actually a crazed fan of the franchise. However, there is a hint to this way earlier on in the movie when him and Sam go to see Dewey for the first time. While standing at the door, you can see a look on Richie's face that seems starstruck by meeting a character from the movies.
My name is Samantha Carpenter. I was attacked last night at the hospital.
If he really hadn't seen stab before, he wouldn't be this in awe with Dewey's presence. Lies, Detective Bailey. Right before his eventual reveal, Wayne Bailey calls Sam and throws suspicion on Kirby. He tells her that Kirby has been lying to them and was fired from the FBI.
They fired Kirby 2 months ago for being mentally unstable. What? She's no longer with the FBI.
Because their stories go against each other, this tells Sam that either Kirby or Wayne has to be the killer. Sam probably could have tried to find out herself if Kirby was actually fired. Once she figured out that it's a lie, she would have known for sure that Detective Bailey is the killer. Creating suspicion, Mickey Altieri. After Derek runs into the house to save Sydney, he gets cut by Ghostface and has to go to the doctor. While at the doctor, Mickey goes over to Sydney to try to encourage her.
Why would anyone go back in that house anyway?
Obviously, we find out that he's the killer later on in the movie, so this is really a manipulation strategy. It seems a little out of character for Mickey to be suspicious of his friend like this, and the only reason for him wanting to make Derek look guilty is to take the eyes off of him. She already knew, Jill Roberts. The entire school is alerted after the brutal murder of Marnie Cooper and Jenny Randall in Scream 4. This information is sent to everyone over text in the middle of class.
Jenny Randall and Marnie Cooper were murdered last night.
What?
What?
All of the students look at their phone when this is sent, except Jill, who for some reason doesn't need to look at her phone. She already knows that they're dead because she and Charlie are the ones who did it. If only the other students would have noticed that she already knew the information and didn't need to find out here. The basement, Amber Freeman. Everyone is aware of the obvious horror movie tip that you shouldn't go into a dark basement by yourself, but it seems that this advice also applies to killers. Scream 2022 has a scene where Amber goes down to the basement and is startled by Mindy, who appears down there with her. Mindy starts lecturing her on why she shouldn't have gone down there by herself. Instead of being scared to be down there alone with Mindy, she starts taunting her about how she could be the killer, and even when Mindy falsely admits to being the killer, she doesn't seem very concerned.
How do you know I'm not the killer?
This should have been a huge sign to Mindy that Amber was involved, because the only one who wouldn't be scared that Mindy is the killer would be the killer themselves. The look, Billy Loomis. This is a rare moment when we literally see the two Ghostface killers communicating right in front of us. After Stu sends Tatum to the garage and she is killed, Billy shows up at the front door. While standing there, he gives Stu a look, letting him know that Tatum is dead.
Oh, Billy, hey.
Not only does this hint to us that Billy is guilty, but also gives away that he probably isn't working alone. This is a fun moment to see on rewatches when you already know about the killer duo. Remember Me, Nancy Loomis. Sydney is anything but free from Ghostface calls by the time Scream 2 comes around. When she is in the sorority house, she picks up the phone and gets this question from Ghostface.
Hello, Sydney. Remember me?
The fact that Ghostface says remember me means that they are connected to the Ghostface from the past. While this is more of an indirect clue, it helps viewers come to the conclusion that this Ghostface is a relative of Billy. This ends up being the case since it's Billy's mother. Subway behavior, Ethan Landry. Scream 6 includes a scene where Mindy Meeks and Ethan Landry get separated from the group and onto the wrong subway. Mindy stays away from Ethan, believing that he is Ghostface, and his actions only confirm it. As things happen and Ghostface lingers around, Ethan shows no sign of fear and actually looks somewhat menacing in his expressions. After Mindy is attacked, he tries to protect his image by pretending to help her, but since he was in a hurry to get back to the shrine, he left her to die there, which gave away his identity. Mindy even picks up on this in the movie and tries to warn them when she gets to the shrine. Making the movie, Charlie Walker. The two boys from Cinema Club, Robbie Mercer and Charlie Walker, get very excited when it comes to the stab movies. But Charlie becomes a little too excited when talking about making a real-life stab movie. He explains why it's important for the killer to be putting the murders on film.
Well, if you want to be the new version, the killer should be filming the murders.
If this isn't creepy enough for you to be convinced, later Gale actually finds cameras set up by the killer, showing that he is literally doing what Charlie said. Gale should have known right then and there that Charlie was under the mask. Killer cut, Richie Kirsch. Sometimes Ghostface killers will let themselves get hurt in order to look innocent. This trick was used by Richie in Scream 2022 when he let Amber slice his arm at the hospital. Although this idea seems smart on paper, there are a couple of reasons why this looks suspicious. Ghostface doesn't usually slice, he stabs, which makes it seem like he was trying to keep Richie from getting a serious injury. We've also seen this exact same instance happen before in the franchise when Charlie cut Jill Roberts' arm in Scream 4. Also, Ghostface seems to be only going after Tara and later only goes after Dewey. Plus, Richie acts like he can't even walk after getting the slice and refuses to help. He even gets a look of concern on his face when he thinks Amber's in trouble. Richie does a lot of things in this scene that make him look guilty. Dropping evidence, Billy Loomis. Billy Loomis was usually very sly with his actions as the killer, but he definitely had a couple of slip-ups. After Sydney is attacked by Ghostface, Billy goes into her room and tries to comfort her. While doing this, a cell phone drops out of his pocket, which was very uncommon to have back in the 90s. Sydney immediately picks up on this and runs away. Billy ends up getting questioned by the police, and even though they let him go, Sydney doesn't trust him for the rest of the movie. Slip up. Jill Roberts. Jill Roberts is usually praised as the Ghostface who was closest to getting away with it, because she's the only one to make it past Act 3 of a Scream movie, and she probably could have gotten away with it if she hadn't made a huge mistake. While talking to Dewey at the hospital, she accidentally says information she shouldn't know.
I'd want her to write it with me. We'd be a good team with our matching wounds and all.
This tells Dewey that she had to be responsible for the Ghostface killings. The characters in the movie actually pick up on this, so it's probably one of the worst Ghostface slip-ups of them all. Alright, that was the top 20 times the killer in Scream gave themselves away. That's all for today. Remember to subscribe and comment below any Ghostface giveaway moments that I might have missed.